Okay, welcome back. Bitcoin's been hovering near its all-time highs around 104K to 107K. So the big question is, what's keeping it up there? And what risks should you know about?
Well, the material suggests some really significant shifts, especially around regulations and big institutional money. Seems to be creating some real positive pressure.
Okay, let's talk about that positive momentum first. It hit that new high, 111K, back on May 22nd.
And it stayed above $100 K since then, pretty much. That level, $100 K, it's looking like strong support, not just a number.
So what's the fuel here? The sources mention regulatory clarity.
Exactly. A few big things in the U.S. The SEC dropping the Binance suit, the House passing a crypto bill, New Hampshire okaying state Bitcoin holdings, and the OCC confirming banks can custody crypto.
Wow, okay. So less uncertainty, more green lights. What about actual money flowing in, institutional cash?
Still strong. The spot ETFs are a big channel. Some analysts in the sources see maybe $55 billion flowing through ETFs this year.
55 billion. That's significant ongoing buying.
Yeah, and some of that might even be shifting from gold ETFs, plus, BlackRock's fund keeps showing consistent buying.
Now, the sources really highlighted something about U.S. retirement funds, a 401k development. That sounds potentially huge.
It really could be. The U.S. Department of Labor withdrew this old guidance from 2022 that basically warned against crypto and 401k.
Remind us, what's a 401k?
It's the main U.S. retirement savings plan. Employers contribute. It's massive. The sources say around $8.9 trillion in assets, 70 million people.
Okay, so removing that warning, what does that actually do?
It essentially removes the government sort of pressure that stopped companies offering crypto. It opens the door.
Opens the door to potentially how much capital? What did the analysis suggest?
Well, just a small allocation, say 1% of that $8.9 trillion. That's around $89 billion. Enough to buy maybe 765,000 Bitcoin.
That's staggering. Is there demand for it?
Seems so. Sources mention younger generations, Gen Z, millennials, are keen. Financial advisors are warming up to it for the long term, too.
So Bitcoin moving into mainstream long-term savings, potentially? Any other positive signs?
Yeah, a couple of things. Real-world use, like record Bitcoin payments at that big conference, and miners like Marathon and Riot, they're holding onto their Bitcoin, not selling it all. That suggests confidence.
Okay, so with all this, what are the price predictions looking like? Short term, maybe end of year?
The sources show analysts getting pretty bullish. Some see maybe 120K, 125K, even 155K possible by mid-June, maybe helped by good economic news.
And longer term, end of 2025.
Ranges like 150K to $200K appear. Some optimists even mentioned 250K, linking it to global money supply and this new demand.
Right, a very positive outlook based on those factors. But, markets aren't just one-way streets. What about the downsides, the risks mentioned in the material?
Absolutely critical to cover that. The sources definitely flag risks. First off, simple profit taking. Price ran up fast, so some early buyers might sell. That can cause dips.
Natural enough after a big climb. What else?
Broader economic stuff, like that U.S. jobs report coming up, or any unexpected global events, they can shake all markets, including Bitcoin. Volatility is part of the game.
Does Bitcoin strength mean everything else is fine? What about altcoins?
Not necessarily. The sources mention altcoins might react differently, maybe drop harder during shaky periods. That adds to overall market jitters.
Any technical warning signs analysts pointed out?
Yeah, some analysts highlighted potential issues, things like price divergence, price goes up, but momentum indicators don't quite follow. They looked a bit like 2021 before corrections.
So technical caution.
Exactly. One perspective mentioned a possible pullback to maybe 64K if support breaks. It's just one view based on charts, but it's out there as a potential risk.
Got it. And the ETFs, they only flow in one direction.
No, definitely not. The sources noted times when money flowed out, like $278 million recently. Big outflows can cause short-term drops. And politics, while it helps adoption, Bitcoin getting too political could be its own risk.
Okay, so pulling it all together then, what's the takeaway for someone watching Bitcoin now?
Strong positive forces are at play. You've got regulatory progress, huge potential institutional demand, especially from that 401k angle and ETFs. That's driving optimism. But it's still volatile. You've got risks from profit-taking, macro shocks, those technical warnings. It's not a smooth ride guaranteed.
So for investors, different approaches maybe.
Seems like it. Long-term folks might see the fundamental story strengthening, maybe buying dips. Short-term traders, they need to be cautious, manage risk, watch for those swings the sources flagged.
A really dynamic situation. Thanks for breaking down those sources for us.
Always interesting to see the different pieces.
Here's something to think about. If that massive pool of 401k money really starts flowing into crypto, even just a bit, how could that change not just crypto prices, but the whole idea of mainstream long-term saving and wealth building for everyday people? Chew on that. We'll catch you next time.